A country left divided by years of religious conflict. A people left stateless who say they've been persecuted for decades. After oppression under military rule, there's now hope and some expectation that the Muslim Rohingya can have a better future. At the moment, they aren't recognised as citizens in the country of their birth. And conflict in 2012 between Buddhists and Muslims forced more than 100,000 Rohingya to live in camps where they remain cut off from the rest of society. With a new civilian-led government now in power in Myanmar, we came to Rakhine State to see whether anything will change. Fences and checkpoints have separated Myanmar's religious communities in Rakhine State for nearly 4 years. Buddhists and Rohingya Muslims divided by suspicion and barbed wire. And for the Muslims now stuck in camps like Norjan, there is little to look forward to. Cut off from the outside world and surrounded by hostile neighbours, she's trapped in a place called Ong Mingala. It's effectively a prison. The authorities say the Rohingya can't leave here to protect them from the Buddhists outside. Since 2012, it's been so difficult, so hard to survive, she tells me. Everyone is unemployed in my home. The building has almost collapsed. In a separate camp, young widow Hassana holds a picture of her husband with her children. Her family says he was murdered by a Buddhist mob in the violence nearly 4 years ago, and they now have little hope for the future. Myanmar's former military-backed government made little effort to heal the wounds. In Sitwe, before the violence of 2012, Buddhists and Muslims used to live side by side, but there have always been tensions. While most Rohingya say they've lived here for generations, Buddhist nationalists have long argued that they are immigrants, mainly from Bangladesh. That's the view of leading monk Shishati. He tells me there is a need to build mutual trust, but in the next breath says many Rohingya should be kicked out of the country. We have to determine which Muslims can be citizens and which cannot, he says. Muslims created this situation and we cannot trust them. Each new generation here is being brought up to distrust the communities around them. Ending years of suspicion will be difficult. We don't want to have problems, but we want to be separate, this man says. If we don't live together, things will be okay. Myanmar may have taken steps towards democracy, but Rohingya Muslims aren't yet part of it. The legacy of violence between Buddhists and Muslims still haunts the country, and rebuilding trust between neighbours who once killed each other will take years. The Rohingya hope the country's new democratic leaders will try to heal the wounds. Duncan Crawford, The Newsmakers, Rakhine State, Myanmar.